What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Buzz. Joe Rogan recently shared his thoughts on Ronda Rousey's latest remarks, expressing nothing but admiration and respect for the former UFC champion. "I got nothing but love and respect for that lady," Rogan began. "What she did was so impressive. She was the first legitimate female superstar and the reason we even have a women's division in the UFC." Rogan explained that before Rousey came along, Dana White was openly against the idea of having female fighters in the UFC. Dana was very clear about never wanting female fighters in the UFC, Rogan said. "It took someone that dynamic and that special to open his eyes and realize, this lady's a star." When asked about Rousey's comment that some people, including Rogan, weren't experts, he brushed it off calmly. "Everyone's entitled to their opinion," he said. "You have to understand where she's coming from. She's got a champion mentality. When you've been at the top of the world like she was, you see things differently. You fought, you've bled, you've earned it. Someone who hasn't been there can't always understand that mindset." Rogan compared it to sports analysts criticizing professional athletes. "It's like a football guy saying, 'Yeah, but I studied the sport. It doesn't matter. You didn't play,'" he said. "That's just how athletes see it. It's not personal. It's about the experience and perspective that comes from competing at that level." He also addressed Rousey's move from the UFC to professional wrestling, acknowledging the controversy around her transition and some of her remarks about wrestlers. "She went to wrestling and she said a few harsh things about people there," Rogan noted. "She's always been outspoken, and that's part of who she is." When a co-host suggested that Rousey's comment about Rogan not being an expert seemed mean, Rogan disagreed. "No, that's not terrible. That's just her opinion," he replied. "If I were overly sensitive, I might take it that way, but I get it. She's earned her right to have that view." Ultimately, Rogan reaffirmed his admiration for Ronda Rousey. "She changed the game," he concluded. "Without her, the UFC women's division wouldn't exist. She was a pioneer, and regardless of what people think now, what she accomplished will always be legendary." Move on to another news. During an interview with ESPN ahead of UFC 322, Jack Della Maddalena, JDM, shared his thoughts on what he expects from Islam Makhachev's strategy inside the octagon. According to JDM, Makhachev's game plan will heavily revolve around constant wrestling pressure. "I expect 25 minutes of him pushing for the takedown," he said. "It's always a threat. It's something he's always thinking about. I don't think Islam will look to trade punches for too long. If he does, it won't last." JDM also discussed the weight dynamics of their upcoming matchup, emphasizing that he doesn't expect to have any real size advantage over Makhachev, despite fighting at welterweight. "Honestly, I think Islam's going to be a big, strong welterweight," he explained. "I don't believe I'll have a weight advantage. I think he's going to be more filled out, more healthy. He probably feels the best he's ever felt. So I'm expecting the toughest version of Makhachev." JDM's comments come as anticipation builds for one of the most talked about fights of the year. While many expect Makhachev to rely on his elite wrestling and grappling skills, JDM remains confident that he can handle the pressure and find openings to strike. Meanwhile, Alexander Volkanovski weighed in with some advice for his fellow Australian. In a video on his YouTube channel, the former featherweight champion warned JDM about engaging on the ground with Makhachev. "Jack's great on the ground, but that's Islam's world," Volkanovski said. "He's been wrestling since before he could even walk. That's all these guys do day and night. You don't want to go there." Volkanovski emphasized that while JDM has solid grappling, his best chance is to keep the fight standing. "Be comfortable in the scrambles, use your weight, and try to wear him down," he advised. "But if you're complacent and wait for moments on your back, you're not going to tire Islam out. Jack needs to keep it on the feet, be stubborn with the takedown defense, and build himself back up if it goes down. He's a great grappler, but the key is striking." As fight night approaches, fans around the world are eager to see whether Makhachev's relentless wrestling or JDM's striking precision will prevail. Who's your pick, Jack Della Maddalena or Islam Makhachev? Move on to another news. Ahead of his highly anticipated fight with Jack Della Maddalena, JDM, Islam Makhachev, has made headlines once again, this time for his bold ambition to surpass Kamaru Usman's legendary title defense record. During a recent UFC interview, the lightweight champion revealed his long-term goals and made it clear that he's not satisfied with holding just one belt. "I want the second belt and to defend it maybe more times than Kamaru," Makhachev stated confidently. "Then I want to become part of the Hall of Fame. That's it." These remarks caught many fans by surprise, as Makhachev not only expressed interest in moving up to welterweight, but also directly compared himself to one of the division's most dominant champions. Usman, who reigned as the welterweight king from 2019 to 2022, successfully defended his title 5 times before losing it to Leon Edwards. Makhachev seems determined to exceed that milestone, signaling his intent to create a legacy that spans multiple weight classes. Makhachev's focus, however, remains firmly on his upcoming bout with JDM at UFC 322. Still, his comments reveal that he's already thinking beyond this fight. His goal isn't just to win, it's to dominate across divisions, just like his mentor Khabib Nurmagomedov once envisioned. Makhachev's confidence comes from his consistent success in the lightweight division, where he has defended his title multiple times and showcased an unmatched mix of striking and grappling. Fans have mixed reactions to his statement. Some applaud his ambition and see it as a natural evolution for a fighter of his caliber. Others caution that the welterweight division presents new challenges, including larger, stronger opponents like Leon Edwards, Shavkat Rakhmonov, and even a possible future showdown with Usman himself. Whether or not Makhachev can achieve his goal of surpassing Usman's record remains to be seen. However, his mindset reflects that of a true champion, one not content with short-term glory, but with building an enduring legacy. As UFC 322 approaches, the question isn't just whether Makhachev can beat JDM, but whether he's truly ready to conquer an entirely new division and write his name among the greatest champions in UFC history. Move on to another news. UFC President Dana White has once again stirred excitement among MMA fans by confirming that a potential super fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev is very possible. During an appearance on Prince Street Pizza's YouTube channel, White was asked directly about the growing chatter surrounding a matchup between the two champions, and his response immediately grabbed attention. When asked if the fight between Topuria and Makhachev could actually happen, Dana White didn't hesitate. "Yep, that can happen too," he said confidently. "I want to see that fight. I think everybody wants to see that fight, including Topuria and Islam." White's brief but decisive comments were enough to fuel massive speculation across the MMA community. The potential clash between Ilia Topuria, the undefeated featherweight champion known for his explosive striking and knockout power, and Islam Makhachev, the dominant lightweight champion with an elite wrestling and grappling game, would represent one of the biggest crossover fights in recent UFC history. Fans have been calling for this matchup ever since Topuria's rise to stardom. After capturing the featherweight belt with a stunning knockout victory over Alexander Volkanovski, Topuria made it clear that he's not content staying in one division. His ambition to move up and face champions from other weight classes aligns perfectly with the kind of super fights the UFC has become known for in recent years. On the other side, Islam Makhachev has expressed interest in facing anyone who can challenge his dominance. After defending his lightweight title multiple times and even teasing a move to welterweight, the idea of taking on an undefeated powerhouse like Topuria seems to fit his legacy-driven mindset. Both fighters have repeatedly stated that they're in the sport to test themselves against the very best, and this matchup represents exactly that. If the fight does materialize, it would be one of the most technically compelling and high-stakes bouts in modern UFC history. Makhachev's relentless pressure, grappling, and top control would clash against Topuria's precise striking, timing, and knockout power. Dana White's confirmation that it can happen has officially opened the door for one of the most anticipated champion versus champion showdowns the UFC could possibly make. Move on to another news. Former light heavyweight and middleweight champion Alex Pereira issued a fiery challenge to Khamzat Chimaev, proposing a one-off grappling match to settle a brewing rivalry. Speaking candidly, Pereira suggested that big names such as Jon Jones might be preferable opponents, but made it clear that he is ready and willing to face Chimaev directly if the opportunity arises. Pereira emphasized that while he has contemplated retirement, he remains active and prepared to compete under the right circumstances. "I'm retired, But I'm still around, he said, underscoring his continued availability for high-profile contests. He also made a bold declaration about defending his honor outside the cage. If anyone confronts him in the hotel lobby or anywhere else, he warned, they should expect an immediate and decisive response. The tone of Pereira's remarks combined bravado with a focused challenge. He proposed a grappling-only encounter as a way to test skills, without the variables of striking, making the contest more about technique and control. Such a match would pit Pereira's physicality and experience against Chimaev's renowned wrestling and relentless pressure, offering a stylistic clash that could intrigue fans across disciplines. Observers quickly noted the potential stakes of a Pereira-Chimaev grappling match. On paper, Chimaev's wrestling pedigree and top control would present a stern test, while Pereira's elite striking acumen would be neutralized by the rules-it, forcing both competitors to adapt. Well, promoters and fight fans alike would likely view the bout as an attractive special attraction, a cross-style contest that emphasizes grappling prowess over stand-up exchanges. Beyond the spectacle, Pereira framed the challenge as a personal statement. He made it clear that he values high-profile matchups and name recognition, calling out elite opponents and staking his reputation on performance. Whether Chimaev accepts the challenge remains to be seen, but Pereira's public call has already generated buzz across social media and MMA outlets. If the match materializes, it would be an intriguing test of skills and resolve. For now, Pereira's message is unambiguous. He is available, willing, and ready to face any opponent who dares to engage him, inside the rules that he proposes. Move on to another news. Amid the growing debate over which potential UFC matchup would be the biggest in history, Khabib Nurmagomedov has shared his strong opinion, and it's a surprising one. The former lightweight champion believes that a fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria would be far bigger and more meaningful than the long-rumored super fight between Alex Pereira and Jon Jones. Speaking in an interview with Josh Thompson on the Weighing In podcast, Khabib explained that while Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira would undoubtedly be massive, the Makhachev-Topuria showdown would transcend divisions and eras. People keep saying Jon Jones versus Pereira is the biggest fight possible, Khabib said. I heard Joe Rogan talking about it too. But right now, I think Topuria versus Islam can be the biggest fight. Not Jon Jones and Pereira. That's still a big fight, but not at that level. Khabib's reasoning highlights the unique appeal of both fighters. Islam Makhachev, his longtime teammate and the reigning lightweight champion, has dominated his division with a blend of wrestling, grappling, and improving striking. Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria has quickly risen to superstar status after capturing the featherweight title with a spectacular knockout win over Alexander Volkanovski. His undefeated record, charisma, and finishing ability have made him one of the sport's fastest-growing names. For Khabib, the potential clash represents more than just a fight. It symbolizes a generational showdown between two prime champions with contrasting styles and fan bases from different parts of the world. This fight is not only about titles, Khabib explained. It's about legacy, about two dominant fighters who are undefeated at the top of their games. He acknowledged that Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira would still draw huge attention given their accomplishments across multiple divisions. However, he emphasized that the intrigue surrounding Makhachev versus Topuria, two fighters still in their prime, both chasing greatness, gives it a special edge. Jon Jones and Pereira is big, Khabib said, but Islam and Topuria, that's another level, not the same.